Oh, my connection could be a lot better. My connection could be a lot better. But I wanted to talk about something. Uh, this is something more of my neck of the woods, and I wanted to. I don't know. I don't know if anyone's gonna show up. I don't know. If anything, I also have this. I could have this replayed. I'd probably edit it and just make a video out of it. Why not? So, um, before I do anything, I just want to have everything in place. Been a hot Jesus. It's been a hot minute since I've live streamed. It's definitely been interesting. Well, I mean, I've done streams on the PlayStation, but that's like kind of corny. I don't know. Before I do anything, how is my channel doing? Since I've been doing nothing, I can't imagine like anything's been going good for the channel. Jesus Christ, I grew. How? How did I grow? I got 24 subs. I'll take it. That's cool. I didn't know someone like other people sub. Anyway, there's no one here, but that's fine. I'm gonna talk about it anyway. So I forgot I gotta share screen. So I gotta share screen. There we go. So a YouTuber by the name of Dr. Skipper made a video called Godzilla Doesn't Work in America. And I watched the video, right? You have this guy over here who reacted to it too. Um, he his thesis in this video was how Godzilla doesn't work in the United States, or more so in the West. But as the video continues, you start to see that it's less of a explanation why Godzilla doesn't work in America, and it's more of a I love -1, but I don't like the MonsterVerse type of video. And he got a lot of things wrong. I wouldn't say a lot, but there were some things that were like objective information that was genuinely like genuinely incorrect. And obviously, he does have some takes that I did not necessarily agree with, but more so, for all intents and purposes, a good majority of the Godzilla fans online, myself included, kind of became vocal in our open disagreement with this video. And for all intents and purposes, I'm not going to watch the video. I am not. But what I am going to do is, I guess I'm going to talk about it. Um, I guess just because I can. So, I say there's literally no one here. I am going to be lecturing. I'm going to be lecturing today, and I genuinely just don't care. It is what it is because I got a couple of things to talk about. So first things first, right? Let me actually stop the screen. Let me change the screen right quick. There we go. How does that look? That looks good. Anyway, so one of the first things that he gets wrong within I think the first 2 minutes of the video is that he claims that Godzilla is in the public domain, which is incorrect. No version of Godzilla is in the public domain. However, the only thing about Godzilla that actually is in the public domain is this image and this image alone. This is the only picture of Godzilla that is actually in the public domain, meaning you could theoretically use this image in whatever way you want without having to, credit Toho or having to, worry about copyright. But outside of that, this is literally the only image you can use and kind of be like okay from. But this is the only image of Godzilla that is public domain. The only thing Godzilla related that is public domain. But the character and the multitude of movies that feature Godzilla, none of them are public domain. So his claim that he's in the public domain is completely incorrect. The other thing that he also gets wrong is that the 1956, what am I trying to say? The 1956 American edit of Godzilla 1954. Now, for those of you who don't know, Godzilla or Gojira 1954 is the first Godzilla movie, and there is an American edited version of the movie called Godzilla King of the Monsters, which came out, like I said, 2 years later in 1956. Hello, Beach. How you doing, man? I'm going on a rant here. Don't forgive me. You don't have to stay here long. It's just that I don't know. I just wanted to get something off my chest. So Skipper not alleges, but he claims that King of the Monsters was more successful than its original counterpart, which came out 2 years earlier, which is incorrect. Because if you actually go on Wikipedia, I'm not going to do it because I have to change my screen. Godzilla 1954 made $2.8 million compared to its American edited counterpart making approximately $600,000. So in terms of box office gross, it did not outgross 1954. And then he tries to claim that the popularity of Godzilla in the West caused Toho Studios to change Godzilla's name from Gojira to Godzilla. For those who don't know, Gojira is the original and is the Japanese name for Godzilla, and is still his name to this day. But his English translation is Godzilla. But he claims that the popularity of the character in the United States caused his name to be changed, which is also incorrect. His Japanese name is still Gojira. And he even went and said that he saw -1. But if he went and actually saw the movie, he would know he was called Gojira the entire time. But since in the US it got English subtitles, he's called Godzilla in the subtitles. But he's called Gojira, verbally, because everyone Japanese refers to him as Gojira. So that's not even, it's not even like it's like they never changed his name. It's weird. It's so odd that he claimed this, or he tried to claim that that's what happened to his name. Like I said, those are like the three biggest pieces of misinformation that he presents in his video. But then he gets to talking about the MonsterVerse. Particularly, he spends a good portion of his video talking about 2014, and I genuinely think he did not pay attention to that movie. Hold up, K. Hold on, K actually. K is live. Abandoned ship. Hold on. K is live. K is live. That's crazy. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, so I was just saying that I think he did not understand and genuinely didn't pay attention to Godzilla 2014 because he claimed, I keep saying alleges. I can say alleges. I can do whatever I want. I don't care. He says that 2014 is like an American propaganda movie that does not pay any homage to what made 1954, 1954. But the thing is, it's weird because if he really watched the movie, he would know that it's not a propaganda movie. And the reason being is because 2014 does not paint the US Army in a really good light. Very similar instance happened with, Kong Skull Island, which for those who don't follow, any of these movies, is a cinematic universe kind of like the MCU called the MonsterVerse. Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, King of the Monsters 2019, and Godzilla vs. Kong all occur in the same continuity. Kong Skull Island just happens to be like a prequel to Godzilla 2014. But even then, Skull Island does not paint the U.S. Army in the best light, or at least some of the characters that actually are from the U.S. Army. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. Like especially the character Colonel Packard, which was portrayed by Samuel L. Jackson. He is, for all intents and purposes, the movie's primary human antagonist. Like he's kind of set up to be one of the protagonists, but as the movie progresses, and of course, as after he ends up landing on Skull Island, he eventually becomes the movie's antagonist, especially with the death of some of his troops at the hands of Kong. But for all intents and purposes, I find that he very much misinterpreted these movies when he claimed that they're propaganda. They're not anti-U.S. military, or they're not necessarily anti-U.S. Army, but they're definitely not pro-U.S. Army. And I say this because if you actually pay attention and watch the movie, you'll know that the military does one of the worst. They make one of the worst decisions they could possibly make in a situation where you have three giant monsters who are all going to converge into San Francisco. And and they decide, you know what we're going to do? We're going to lure them to San Francisco. We're going to lure them with a nuclear warhead. And I don't see why you could watch the movie. You can't tell me that the US Army was really thinking this through. They had two experts from Monarch telling them as much as they can about these creatures, and they know that they feed on radiation. So what do they want to do? The Army decides, yes, we're going to actually use a nuclear bomb to lure these creatures in what has to be one of the worst decisions they could have made. Or at least was one of the riskiest. Oh, hi, Evan. Sorry, bro. I'm going on a rant. I saw this. Long story short, there was this video. I'm a Godzilla fan, and this dude got a lot of stuff wrong. So I'm just kind of going on a rant because I wanted to, whatever, just get it off my chest because I can. Don't mind me. But so the U.S. Army decides we're gonna bring a nuclear weapon to the coast of San Francisco. And the first thing that happens when they actually manage to bring this nuclear weapon to the coast of San Francisco, one of these giant creatures swoops in, pumps out an EMP, and steals it. It literally steals the nuclear warhead and brings it to the inner city of San Francisco, putting thousands of innocent civilians at risk. And the problem is that he also tries to antagonize Godzilla, of all people, despite the fact that we literally have a creature who is literally swinging a nuclear warhead around the innermost portion of San Francisco. But you want to also allege that Godzilla is the problem, that Godzilla is this pro-military, icon in 2014. This is just not true. He tries to use a specific clip in the movie to show that Godzilla is pro-military because there's two destroyers. They're not destroyers, I don't think, but I think they're aircraft carriers. It's part of the U.S. Navy. Two ships that are literally following Godzilla side to side. The problem is that in this movie, Godzilla does not really care much for humanity. This is before King of the Monsters and before, Dr. Serizawa's sacrifice. But before then, he knows about humans. He just doesn't really care for them. The best way I can describe it is it's not as if he doesn't care for them per se, but he's very indifferent to them. Say humans and ants, where Sure, some humans, some people will actively kind of seek out like stomping out ants whenever they can, and then other people will just kind of like they'll just leave them alone. If they're like on a sidewalk, that's kind of like how Godzilla felt about humans, or almost like ants. He doesn't he doesn't seek out to kill them, but to him it's of no consequence whether or not we live or die. It's just that he just doesn't want to kill us, but he doesn't care if he does, right? But that's why he was allowing those ships to kind of follow him to the side. But all those ships were doing were literally they were literally just following him and were watching him, and was kind of like following him to his trajectory to San Francisco to keep an eye on what he was going to do once he got close enough, to San Francisco, knowing, with the military knowing that the Mutos were going to be in San Francisco, when eventually, the Mutos and Godzilla would all converge, right? For all intents and purposes, it's not really pro military because Godzilla is just letting them follow him, not even knowing that the military is literally trying to kill him with a nuke. Like they're literally trying to kill Godzilla and the two Mutos all in one fell swoop. Kind of like with the somewhat kind of I wouldn't say they kind of got told that the military in the past tried to kill Godzilla multiple times with the Bikini Atoll tests and whatnot, which all failed. So I figured that maybe someone in the military would realize that a nuclear weapon probably wouldn't kill him. But I love the fact that they tried anyway. Let me actually let me do this another time. I feel like if I did this in the video, this would be a lot better. And K stream is on right now, so yeah, I'll do this probably never. If I'm not even gonna lie, I think I'm just gonna I got a good idea. I'm gonna make this into a video. I think that's actually gonna be a lot better than just I think making this into its own video is probably gonna be for the best. But since K's live, I think I'm just gonna call it a night and just tune in. For some reason, he's mentioned something about Afghanistan. I'm thinking he's gonna do Gmod eventually. If he does Gmod, good lord, I am praying to God he makes it a multiplayer match. You need you let me in, bro. Anyway, been real. I keep this up, but I'm probably just gonna I'm gonna change the name just to thoughts. I'll change it just to thoughts, and then I'm just gonna end it right here.